They hate you because you chose yourself. Let them whisper. Let them stew in the shadows. Their hatred isn't power, it's proof. Proof that you broke the rules of their game by refusing to play. You were supposed to shrink, remember? To fold under pressure, apologize for breathing too loudly, ask permission to be whole. But you didn't. You rose. Not with vengeance, but with clarity. Not with screams, but with silence so sharp it cut deeper than their loudest lies. They hate you because you left the script they wrote for you, tore it up, and started writing your own story. One where your worth isn't negotiated. See, people like them, they thrive on control, on the illusion that you need them. Their kindness always came with a leash. Their affection was conditional. Their love, a transaction. But you chose self-respect over their performance. You chose peace over chaos. You chose you. And oh, how that shattered them. Because when you left, you took with you the only thing they truly needed, an audience for their act. Now the curtain's fallen. Now the stage is empty, and they are nothing without someone to perform for. Their hatred, it's a mirror, not of who you are, but of who they're terrified to become. Powerless, exposed, forgotten. They can't stop talking about you because they can't stop thinking about you. Every insult they spit is soaked in envy. Every story they twist is another desperate attempt to regain the control they lost the moment you walked. You didn't burn bridges. You let them collapse under the weight of their lies. You didn't scream. You smiled and stepped back. And that quiet strength, that's what haunts them. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need chaos. You only needed one thing, distance. And in that space, you blossomed. Now they try to replace you. New faces, new stories, new distractions. But none of them echo the truth you carried. None of them stand as tall in the storm. They hate you because your existence reminds them they never broke you. And that's the part they can't forgive. You showed them what real power looks like. The power of boundaries, of walking away, of not needing anyone's permission to heal. Let them hate. Let them spiral. Let them drown in the venom they brewed for you. Because while they rot in their resentment, you'll be thriving, laughing louder, sleeping deeper, and living a life so full and free they wouldn't know how to hold it if it was handed to them. Their hatred is a confession. Your peace is the verdict. Case closed, so don't look back. Don't second-guess the silence. Don't soften your stance for people who never offered a safe place to land. You gave chances. You gave explanations, patience, grace, and they mistook it for weakness. They thought your kindness meant you'd never leave. But you did. And that, right there, was the plot twist they never saw coming. You evolved. See, growth looks like selfishness to people who benefited from your self-neglect. Healing feels like betrayal to those who only knew you when you were broken. But you're not broken anymore. You're built. Built from sleepless nights and silent tears. From apologies you should never have had to make. From the ache of realizing that love shouldn't cost your identity. Now, you wear your scars like medals, proof that pain tried and failed to make you bitter. You are not bitter. You are better. Colder, yes, but only where the fire tried to destroy you. Sharper, because dull blades never cut through lies. They want you to explain, to justify, to crawl. But you owe them nothing, not closure, not clarity, not even a response. Because when people lose access to the version of you they could exploit, they start to call it change. Let them. Let them name your growth arrogance. Let them brand your peace ego. It doesn't change the truth. You're not hard to love. You just stop tolerating being hurt and calling it love. You're not too much. You were just always too real for those too afraid to be honest. You're not angry. You're done. And there's a world of difference between the two. They'll say you've changed, but really, you've just returned to yourself. The version of you that doesn't shrink, that doesn't chase, that doesn't bend to fit into spaces that were never built for someone so infinite. You've become something they never expected, untouchable. So let them hate. Hate is loud, but it's not lasting. You are. Let them talk. Let them spin their stories, because the truth doesn't need defense. It just needs time. And time. Time always reveals who was real, who was loyal, and who was only around because they thought you'd never leave. Let them keep watching, because you're not just surviving anymore. You're becoming. And one day they'll realize they weren't your heartbreak. They were your rebirth. You didn't lose them. You released them. There's a difference. Loss implies they were valuable, but truthfully, they were just loud in your life, not loyal. You didn't walk away out of spite. You walked away for survival. Because peace isn't found in pleasing everyone. It's found in choosing yourself unapologetically. You learned the hard way. You can't save people from themselves. And love without boundaries is just self-destruction in disguise. Now look at you, still standing, still rising. No crown on your head maybe, but a storm in your soul and calm in your eyes. You're not chasing revenge, you're chasing vision. You're too focused to be distracted, too healed to be baited. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to prove them wrong. Your life will do that on its own. Let your success whisper louder than their hate ever shouted. Let your peace haunt the places your presence once healed. Let your silence be the reminder that they messed with someone who would have given them the world, but now gives them nothing. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity. It's the sharp, sacred knowing that not everyone deserves access to you, especially those who mishandled your softness like it was weakness. So now you choose carefully. You move intentionally. You love deeply, but with discernment. Because when you've rebuilt yourself from ashes, you don't let just anyone hold the match. You are not the same, and that's the point. So walk forward, head high, heart whole, eyes on fire. Let the past echo behind you, but never drag you back. Because this new version of you, unbothered, unapologetic, unshakable, you didn't just survive the pain, you turned it into power. And now you are unreachable. And if they ever wonder, if they ever whisper your name in the shadows, telling stories, rewriting your history to fit their guilt, let them talk. Because your truth doesn't need defending. Your peace is proof. Your growth is gospel. You don't owe explanations to those who didn't care to understand you. You don't need closure from people who only ever brought chaos. Let them stay stuck in their old narratives. You've outgrown the pages they still read from. You've moved on and moved up. Because the real ones, they'll feel your absence like a weight. The fake ones, they'll pretend they never needed you. But you'll just keep building, keep rising, keep living like the storm didn't break you. It built you. And every step you take now, that's not a comeback. That's a whole new era. One where you don't dim for anyone. One where your worth isn't negotiated. One where your energy is a kingdom, and not everyone gets a key. This is your rebirth, your revolution, And if they couldn't handle your softest version, they damn sure won't survive the unshakable one. So walk and never look back. And if they watch from afar, eyes narrowed, voices bitter, still waiting to see you stumble, let them. Because every time you rise, every time you choose peace over pettiness, growth over gossip, light over their darkness, you win again. They wanted to break you, but you broke the cycle. You didn't just walk away. You walked into your power. And now, your silence speaks louder than their noise. Your smile, more lethal than any revenge. Your success, that's the echo that haunts them. Not because you hurt them, but because you healed. And healing, my dear, is the most dangerous thing you could have ever done, because it made you untouchable. So let this be the chapter they'll never understand, where you stopped explaining, stopped shrinking, stopped apologizing for being too much for people who were never enough. You didn't become cold, you became clear, and clarity is blinding to those who thrive in the fog. Let them sit in their bitterness. Let them drown in their what-ifs. Let them wear the mask of pretend peace while you dance in real freedom. Because when you chose yourself, when you chose your worth over their approval, you didn't just walk away from them. You walked straight in to the life they were never meant to be a part of. So no, don't hate them, pity them, because while they spiral, you soar. And in the end, that's the kind of power they'll never touch. So go ahead, lift your chin, straighten your spine, and walk like you've already won, because you have. Every insult they threw, you turned it into fuel. Every door they slammed, you built your own. And every tear you shed, it watered the roots of your rebirth. You're not the same person they tried to break. You're the version they feared you'd become. Unapologetic, unshakable, unforgettable. They tried to write your ending, but you picked up the pen. And now, you don't owe them your voice, your presence, or your peace. You owe yourself your freedom. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. Let them feed off their illusions, because truth doesn't shout, it lives. And you, my dear, are living proof. They had the chance to walk beside you, but they chose to try and control you. And now, they'll only ever get to watch you from a distance, while you rise, while you thrive, while you become everything they said you couldn't be. Their hatred is the echo of their own downfall. Your peace, that's the symphony of your evolution. So don't look back, don't shrink, don't apologize. You are the storm they pretended to be. You are the light they never saw coming. And above all, you are free. So here's the truth they'll never admit. You didn't just walk away, you evolved. You didn't just survive their storm, you became your own. And while they're still stuck in the same patterns, playing the same tired games, repeating the same cycles, you've leveled up. You're building a life on peace, purpose, and power. No more begging to be seen. No more shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. No more accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. Let them stew in the fantasy of who they think you were. You don't live there anymore. That version of you, gone, buried, replaced by someone bolder, wiser, untouchable. They hate you good. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you that you made the right call, that the exit was your awakening, that the silence you gave them was not weakness. It was the loudest declaration of strength you ever made. Because real strength doesn't roar. It simply refuses to be caged. So move forward with your head high. Laugh louder. Love deeper. shine brighter. Let your life be the proof they never saw coming. Let your growth be the revenge you never had to seek. And when they look your way, full of spite, full of envy, full of questions they'll never have the courage to ask, smile. Not because you've won some game, but because you finally realized you were never playing. And now, here you stand, not just a survivor, but a warrior, not just healed, but whole. They thought they could break you. They thought they could shatter your spirit, but what they didn't realize was that you're made of something stronger than they'll ever understand. You are the embodiment of everything they underestimated. You are proof that resilience is born from the deepest wounds, that power comes from knowing who you are and never apologizing for it. So let them hate, let them fume, let them spew their venom in your direction. Let them waste their energy while you pour yours into building the life you deserve. Because in the end, it's not their opinion of you that matters. It's yours. And you've already decided you are more than enough. You are beyond worthy. You are unstoppable. While they spin their webs of lies, you'll be out there creating your legacy, unstoppable and unbothered. While they stay trapped in the prison of their own making, you'll continue to rise. And remember, it's not their hatred that defines you. It's your strength, your growth, your freedom. So let them watch, let them stew, let them sink deeper into the void of their own making. Because you are already on your way to something greater, and nothing at all can stop you now. And here's what they'll never understand. They can hate you all they want. They can try to tear you down, try to drown out your light. But here's the truth. They can't touch you because you've risen above it all. You've become something they can never be. And the harder they push, the higher you soar. You're not just surviving their game anymore. You're rewriting the rules. And every step you take, every victory you claim, is a reminder to them of what they've lost. Your strength, it's unbreakable. Your peace, untouchable. Your freedom, absolute. And as they sit in the shadows of their own bitterness, wishing they could find the same courage you have, you'll be out there, living the life they never thought you'd have. A life of choice, a life of power, a life they can only dream of. So, let them talk, let them rage, let them burn with jealousy and regret. They'll only fuel the fire of your rise. They'll only remind you that you made the right choice. You didn't need their validation. You didn't need their approval. You only needed to believe in yourself. And that's exactly what you did. And when they look back, when they try to figure out what went wrong, they'll see one simple truth. You don't need them. And they'll never ever be able to understand that.